Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and I'm super excited to bring you my interview with Andrew and Michelle Munoz from Moose Craft Barbecue. We're talking about their brick and mortar, which is opening very soon. I'll make this intro nice and short because I want to get right to them. We talk all about the new location, how they found this location, where it is, what the hours are going to be initially, how it's going to be set up, how they're feeling about this. We get really into it. It's really exciting. I can't be happier for them. I remember visiting them in their backyard in the early days, and now they're going to have a brick and mortar. Los Angeles needs them. This is so perfect. They are so great. They're such great people. They deserve this. They also have a GoFundMe page, which we talk about at the end. I'll put a link to that below. And that's just to help out with additional costs, because they talk about some additional costs at the end, which are pretty crazy. The main thing is I wanted to talk to them as soon as possible so I could give you guys the inside scoop on the Moose Craft Barbecue and Taproom coming to Lincoln Heights. And the Kevin's Barbecue Joints podcast and YouTube show is brought to you by Centex Smokers. You can check them out at Centex_smokers on Instagram. Michael Johnson's building offset pits out of Luling, Texas. Great guy. His lead time right now is about 4 to 5 months. If you follow his Instagram, you'll see it's making incredible stuff. Incredible quality, incredible craftsmanship. Finishes are amazing. He's doing some stuff for some very heavy hitters. Again, that's Centex Smokers. If you're digging these, please subscribe. That way you don't miss out. Hit the bell notification. That way it pops up into your feed. Hit the thumbs up button if you've enjoyed this video. Also, a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com. In the end, stay safe, stay sane. We're getting closer. Enjoy this. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Kevin. We're good. How are you?
Good. I guess you got some good news just broke for you guys. What's happening?
Yeah, what's happening, Andrew?
I don't know. I think we
signed
a lease.
Yeah.
Pretty much what we did.
Congratulations on this. I'm really, really excited. I wanted to reach out, and we've been trying to reach out for a few days now just to kind of give people an idea as to how this went down. And because I know a lot of people want you guys to have a brick and mortar, and you had talked about it to me, over the years, but it's happening so quickly. And then I want to get some, insight into the restaurant and what you guys have in store, and maybe kind of rough estimate as to when it's opening. So how did it go down? How did this happen so quickly?
How did it go down? Well, we've been looking for quite some time. I think we started looking when we were still at Smorgasburg, right before the pandemic, 2019. That was the plan. 2020.
What was your last pop-up? Was it March or February?
It was.
Yeah, it was. We did it like literally the
first week.
It was probably the first or second week. We did Smorgasburg, and then when like sports and Disney Smorgasburg finished, and then we still had a brewery pop-up lined up at Trademark Brewing. So we did that because everyone said it was safe to be
you didn't know.
And so we did. We were fine. We did the event, and then that was it. And then we just kind of switched to curbside at the kitchen.
And that's worked out for you guys. But
we're still doing that. We've been able to survive
a year
just
now.
Doing that.
Just doing that, just pure curbside. We completely switched our business model to online pre-ordering only.
It's worked, and I've mentioned it a number of times on this show because it's a success story for something that you wouldn't necessarily think would have worked, and you guys had to
we never would have thought that we would be able to successfully run a barbecue business where everything is, visual and by weight and experience during a pandemic, and it worked out for us where we were able to just accept these online pre-orders, take them in advance, be able to plan ahead, know exactly how much we're making, how much we need to serve, and then have such a great team really to help us coordinate and get all of this together and run our orders, essentially give contactless service.
You pull up and you could pop in their trunk or put in the back seat, and it's so streamlined. I came and visited you one time, and it was amazing how you guys had all the tickets, you had all the bags set up, you had a whole process. And it took a little time to get that going, but it's also it's ideal. But I think, Andrew, you and I had talked to you, missed that interaction of the face-to-face. Everyone does, but you miss that cutting in front of people and you serving, talking. That interaction was wonderful at Smorgasburg.
We miss it so much.
So there'll be times where I'm not cutting because we'll have the two cutters going, and I'll just run orders with one of our other guys. And just to kind of see faces and see familiar faces, a lot of new faces, but a lot of familiar ones too that still stick with us from Smorg to the new location. And so it's kind of like, oh cool, these people are still coming, and it's been kind of cool to at least have some form of interaction, but it's not the same as like seeing people in front of you while you're cutting, you're taking their order, they see the meats, like that.
It's exciting. It's an exciting moment to see.
Yeah, all that's kind of missing.
Are you guys doing it once a week now, or is it every other week, or how are you guys gonna?
So the first 2 months I think we did 3, and we took a week off in between. And then right now we're probably going to do 3 more in April. It just depends. Like it's between getting ready to do curbside, which, because it's like, it's essentially mobile. So we have to transport everything to the kitchen and bring it all back. So that takes up so much time. So it's like the weeks that we're doing curbside are almost like weeks where we're not doing anything at the restaurant. So we're trying to balance it. Hopefully we can do 3. I think ideally, like realistically, we'll probably do 2. And then hopefully we're done.
And we have kids too.
And we have kids, yeah.
Oh yeah, those. You have a life. Yeah.
That as well.
You have a life.
Oh yeah. So that's why it might just be 2, and then depending on when we open, if it's into May, then we'll probably do 1 or 2 in May too. Yeah. So we'll see, but there'll definitely be a few more curbside options before we get into the brick and mortar.
And if they follow your Instagram, you mention when it drops and what time to be able to purchase, and then you guys have windows, and then it's just so for people that might not be aware, then you also have specific times that you choose to pick up the food.
Yeah. So we use a website called Explore Talk. And so you can go in there, and sometimes we'll have multiple events or days listed for curbside.
Yeah.
And people just pick the date they want. And then once they click the date, it populates all the available time slots that are still open. And then, people find something that works from them, and then it'll show you the menu and what we have and what's not sold out yet.
That's great. No, it worked out great. And it's the way you guys pack everything is perfect. So that's all wonderful and that's all good. But now you have something bigger with the brick and mortar. How did you stumble upon this place?
So we were interested, or I should say our agent has shown us a spot that was about 2 blocks away from our current new spot.
Okay.
And it was a burger joint, and we liked the area. And I actually grew up an early part of my childhood in Lincoln Heights. So I was very, very familiar with it. The restaurant that he has showed us in the beginning just needed way too much work. Sorry, our kids.
That's okay. No, this is real. It's real.
The restaurant needed way too much work. And we were like, we're never going to be able to afford this. Like, it's a great location. It's right off the freeway, but it's way too, just too much money involved. So driving back, getting home, we're hopping on the freeway, and I happened to look to my left, and I saw this restaurant that was called the Lincoln Kitchen and Tap, and I had never noticed it before. Right on the same street as this restaurant our agent was showing us, and I saw it and I said, the gate looks closed. I wonder if this restaurant is open, or what is it? So I Googled it, and it ended up being, a tap room with a kitchen. And we drove around, and we were like, see, this is like, we need a spot like this would be ideal. Oh my God. Like every time we would talk about like what we were looking for, we always wanted to stand alone, but we knew that would be very hard in LA. That place at the time, it wasn't available. Right. But I was like, this would be perfect.
That's
we can
crazy.
find something like this anywhere in LA. This would be perfect. It had a backlot. It had plenty behind the private backlot. It had tons of public parking.
The patio, isn't there a patio too?
It has a patio for outdoor alfresco dining. Just the whole vibe, something about it, just like really like it called me. And I told Andrew, the second shutdown is coming. I don't know, like we should keep an eye just on this block and see.
So this was like back in December kind of, or?
Like back in like November, December, we're like, we should just kind of keep an eye on it. So I went on Instagram and I followed them, and I turned on the notifications just to kind of see.
You were stalking them.
We just kind of like, I love the spot. And I thought to myself, like, I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on it and we'll see.
That's smart.
Yeah. I mean, we had been looking, I'm not lying, like the whole pandemic on our weeks off where we weren't working, as soon as the kids were like done with school, we would hop in the Jeep. We'd be like, all right, kids, bring the iPads, bring the Switches, get some snacks. We're going to go on a road trip. The kids hated these road trips. We would literally drive all throughout LA. Like,
oh, I didn't know you did that.
Go all the way to like Pomona. Like we saw spots out in Pomona.
We saw a cool spot in Pomona, but it was Pomona.
It was Pomona, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
But what I mean, like we were traveling everywhere, Kevin, we were literally traveling everywhere looking for just restaurants that had for lease signs. Because a lot of the times the things that the agents show you on these websites, they're very limited. And there's a lot of businesses that become available, but they're being leased out by, you know, the landlords privately. So you won't know until you're actually driving by and you're like, oh, wait a minute, like that looks like a cool spot and it has a for lease sign.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of how people luck out with houses sometimes too. Like you can't find or a really good rental. Yeah.
That's how we found our home. You know, I just happened to be driving by and I saw it and I said, oh, this looks like a great place. Called our agent and said, look this address up. And this is exactly what happened with the brick and mortar. Crazy. So we ended up getting a notification. Now, I got it on my phone and we were together. And then it popped up and it was the Lincoln. And
I almost didn't do anything about it because I was like, the place is huge. It's going to be like way out of our budget.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's not going to work because I was already just used to getting all these no's, and she was just like, well, we just don't know until we ask.
And I don't take no's for an answer.
So all right, let me call.
I know that.
So I called our agent and I shot him a text, and I was like, look, this spot just came up. It's closing. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but can you find out information? And like he was like, oh yeah, like yeah, literally the same day that we got the notification, within an hour we messaged him, and a couple hours later he's like, all right, I got the owner. He's like, they're going to connect me with the property manager, who's going to connect me with the people who are running the business now. And so within a week, about a week or two, we were on a Zoom call with the building owner.
Yeah.
And and that's how it worked out.
That's so fast.
We still look at each other sometimes and we're like, this really, like, this is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Can
you got a chance to walk the property before?
We did. Yeah, we did. So we got in contact with all of the people that, you know, are currently running it and the building and management. And so we set up an appointment to tour the inside. We looked at it. And then afterwards we set up a Zoom call. You know, once we went through all like the back end stuff, they were like, all right, yeah, let's set up a call so we can meet you. And so we did kind of what we did now. The guy didn't have a beanie on.
Unfortunately, yeah. He didn't have a thatch thing behind him.
No, he didn't have that.
So it wasn't fancy. You're saying it wasn't. But now with this too, wasn't it a situation where they had to pare their business down? Like, weren't they selling all their beer and stuff, or wasn't there something like they were doing? I remember seeing something. They're getting rid of inventory or something.
They had a lot of inventory still, because there was a tap room, so they were doing growler fills until they ran out of their product. And they had to-go food. They were like on Grubhub and Postmates and all those other apps.
How many square feet is it?
Yeah, it's about 2,600 square feet.
It's a good amount of space.
It's a good amount of space. Yeah,
it's just right.
Yeah,
awesome. No, it's perfect. That's actually a perfect size. Out is that back parking lot? That's all you got? Is that your parking lot, or is that?
Yeah, it's a private parking.
It's our parking lot. Yeah,
private parking space. It has about 35 feet of just space that's like for nothing, which I have a good idea what I'm gonna put there.
Yeah, wink, wink.
Yeah, and then there's just parking spaces. I think there's like an additional 10 plus an ADA handicap space. So. Perfect. That'll be closed off for just like employees, just for staff.
Okay.
But go ahead.
But behind it, there's a little alleyway, and then behind that, there's like public parking. And I want to say there's like 25 spaces plus like electric vehicle plug-in station for like 5 cars. And then
there's plenty of parking.
And that's just behind our building. And then if you cross the street on the same, behind our building, there's another parking lot that's also public parking.
Oh, so that's perfect. Oh,
it's so great.
Yeah.
It's so like it's so great.
So let's talk a little bit about your emotions before you guys signed it. How did you feel? Like how was this is a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we had much emotion before we signed it. We were just like this seems like it's going to work out. We were really excited, and then once we signed it, then that's when all of the anxiety and the emotion and everything else kicked in, because it was like, oh shit, this is real. Like,
for sure,
we need just kind of the normal emotions, nothing like we're like in fear or anything, but it was just kind of like the anxiety.
But the reality that it set in.
Yeah, it all settled in.
I think it wasn't until we actually had the keys in our hand, and it was just him and I in the restaurant alone, that then that's when it really just like set in. That was like the real one. And then when we had the conversation with the owner of the building, when he said, I really like you guys and I think you guys are going to be a great fit, and I want to make this work for you guys, so let's make it happen. And right when we knew that we had that green light, that someone was willing to take a chance on us. We're such a new, like, we've been doing this for a while, but we don't have like in reality like restaurant experience,
physical restaurant
experience. We've been a pop-up for so long. He was willing to take that chance on us.
Is he the one? Does he have a connection with your father in the area?
He doesn't have a connection with the connection I guess would be is that my father grew up in Lincoln Heights and I grew up in Lincoln Heights in a very, very early part of my childhood. We lived literally 2 blocks away from where this restaurant is.
That is amazing.
So for me, like, it brings, like, the restaurant is so much more to me because it's like, in a way, it brought me back to my like stepping grounds from when I was a kid. On my father's side, my great grandparents, they lived in New Mexico, and when they migrated to Los Angeles, they bought a house on Citrus Street, and it was this beautiful old Victorian 2-story house, a huge lot. My parents were newlyweds, and we lived upstairs in the apartment. It had upstairs this tiny little apartment at the peak. And I just have so many great memories, of my childhood and early memories of my parents together and the walks. I mean, my mom and I used to take walks down Broadway, and I'm sure I walked by this many times as a kid, not realizing that this is now mine, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. And speaking to the owner of the San Antonio winery, they've all grown up in Lincoln Heights. It's like family owned. He owns many businesses in Lincoln Heights. And so he was telling me a little bit.
They're a great family too.
They're such a great family. They're all such good people. He was telling me, that the grade school he went to, the middle school and the high school, and he ended up going to all the same Catholic schools.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what it was. Yeah. And
that's so neat. It's meant to be. It feels very meant to be.
Yeah, it really does. It feels special. It gives me chills.
Yeah. That's really crazy. And when you guys were walking the space, almost you're looking at it too, like you started this, and when I first met you guys, this was in your backyard, and now you're in a restaurant.
I saw one of those YouTube videos where you were in my backyard, and I was like, oh God.
Well, I remember like you were building a pit, and it was
it was like one of my friends who's like starting to get into barbecue sent me the link, and I was just like, oh yeah, I haven't seen that video in a few years. Good thing.
Yeah, it was. I think it's like tucked way down in all the videos. It would take some finding to like. I won't connect it. There won't be a link below to that. But it is interesting because I think I even walked to the backyard. I don't even know if you were in the house coming inside. It was just such a so fresh and so new that to come this far. That's amazing. That's really exciting. Explain where Lincoln Heights is for people that might not know where Lincoln Heights is.
So Lincoln Heights is a pretty cool city. It's located on the northeast side of downtown LA. It's one of the oldest.
I think it's the oldest like neighborhood in LA City.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You can tell kind of like by the homes in the neighborhood that the homes are like very like early 1900s.
Oh, cool.
And the Victorian style homes, but it's such a great neighborhood. I mean, it's an area to me that, like I explained, it's close and dear to my heart because I grew up there and have family who grew up there. So what's great about it is when we always envisioned having a restaurant, we knew we wanted to have it like in the heart of LA. We just didn't know where. Preferably we wanted it closer to, our side, the east side. Yeah. And it's just perfect, like where it's located, it's not far from us from home. You go over the bridge, you're like few minutes into downtown LA. Yes. Dodger Stadium is literally just down the hill from where we are.
Which is awesome.
Like we're not far from Burbank, Glendale, like it's right off the 5.
It's right off the 5, right? That's right.
Yeah. Literally, you exit and you make a right, and it's right there.
Wow. So it's wet. It's east of the 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a single story, right?
Our building is single story.
But there's right next to it is a larger building, right?
It's a Tierra Mia coffee.
That's to the right. But like if you saw the rendering, there's like a hole right next door. That's a bigger building. I think that single story too. It's just huge.
Just a huge building.
Yeah, but our building looks really sweet inside because it's like semi-industrial looking, so it's exposed ceilings, and so you can see everything all the way up with.
That's neat. That's what you'd want anyways.
Yeah,
right?
the owner did a really nice job at. So before it was the Lincoln kitchen tap, it used to be Los Siete Mares. I think it's Los Siete Mares, right? Or El Siete Mares. It had these like, it's very old school looking. It kind of looked like a boat a little bit because it had like a circle windows that kind of made it look like a ship. And he just completely gutted it from the ground up and made everything to code ADA and just left that really rustic industrial feel to it.
Killer.
Beautiful. I think back in the day, Los Siete Mares used to have like a driveway that used to go to the back parking lot, and they converted that driveway into a really beautiful alfresco patio.
So that's what that is, yeah.
That's what that is. Yeah. So it's a really good space, you know?
So how much seating, and will there be bar seating too? Like when things slowly open up more
and back to normal, there will definitely be bar seating because a good portion of the restaurant as you walk into the left is the bar.
Okay.
There's about 40 taps of beer, which is insane. It's a lot of beer.
It's going to be fun cooking at night.
It is going to be fun.
Exactly. It'll make it a lot easier to cook.
So there's plenty of seating at the bar.
Yeah.
And then there'll definitely be plenty of seating inside as well too. Although I think a lot of people are going to feel really comfortable, especially in the spring and summer, you know, to sit outside.
Yeah,
and
it looks like a nice spot out there.
It's very comfortable. There's a lot of like green, there's some bushes behind.
It has like privet or some type of shrub behind it.
So perfect. There's a nice breeze and I can't wait for you to see it. It's
how much do you guys have to build out in the, like,
so
seating wise and things?
We don't actually have to build out anything. Everything is kind of, because the prior tenant was only there for 3 years, they kind of did the build out. So the kitchen is ready to go. It already has all the appliances.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, we just paid a little bit of key money to take over, you know, the standard stuff, the beer and wine license, and then all of the equipment inside. So there is equipment that it doesn't have that we do need. So you know, we have to buy certain things or that are more, you know, for barbecue. But as far as build out, there's no actual like major construction build out. It's mainly you know, cleaning the exterior, painting the walls, having the inside repainted, and then branding, furniture, like the restaurant furniture that it has is functional, but we're
I was curious about that too.
Yeah, we're looking at different pieces for the outside al fresco section, and then as far as the back too, because I mean, the parking lot is larger than the restaurant. It's huge in the back, and because of the restricted indoor dining, we can set up tables and have something outside without having to pull a permit. You know, we were doing it on the sidewalk on the street,
and
like a lot of restaurants
are too.
Yeah, the current owners. It's the previous owners pulled all the permits for the sidewalk if we wanted to do that, and they have all the paperwork for
like on Broadway. You could have.
On Broadway, you can have it, but I don't feel comfortable because there's too much traffic. It's right.
I agree.
So the freeway's just right there, and I just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it all in the back.
Yeah. I don't think you'll need to.
I don't think so either. The back lot is so huge. There's so much potential there that it's like, why not? You know, they can essentially walk out of the restaurant straight to the patio, and then there's a door that'll lead straight through to the parking area. So it's perfect.
It feels like you could almost have events back there too.
Totally.
We could, yeah. It's definitely large enough for events.
That doesn't suck either.
No, it doesn't suck.
Especially for like that 1 year or whatever, you know, we just have to pull, I'm sure, just like a fire permit for safety and you know, have different events different things going on back there.
Have our own barbecue and friends event back
I know, you could.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
Yeah, that would be amazing. And you'll have beer and wine?
Beer and wine.
Beer and wine. So the place is set up with
craft beer and wine. Yeah.
My friends, they just run Modelo 40 taps and we'll be good to go.
I think I had texted you. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're gonna have craft beer.
Only Modelo and Corona.
And yeah, so
Tecate, yeah. I like
beers, 40 taps. I don't know that we're gonna run all 40 to start because it's a little overwhelming, but definitely craft beers. And then we have 2 wine taps. So we'll have up to 40 beers on tap and 2 wine taps, and then we'll probably have some bottles in the back in the fridge.
And it's perfect, Kevin, because we used to do these breweries.
Yeah.
And we used to draw these huge crowds, and the breweries would love us because it would bring them
yeah, I know, that's
people, and barbecue and beer would pair so
perfect.
Great. So it's like now it's like we have our own restaurant, but we also kind of in a way have our own
bar.
Little tap
beer bar, like a beer bar. Like it's so, and that's going to be an exciting component of your business, because that's number one, is revenue, but it's also something that you can be creative with.
Of course.
And,
yeah, exactly.
And change and like bring different people in or have events. So there's a lot of components with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. And then of course
it opens up more opportunities, more just we can, make an item that pairs with whatever beers we have on tap like that week or that month. So
do you have a good size walk-in?
We do. Yeah. We have a walk-in fridge and freezer.
Wow.
That are both pretty large, and they're all ours. We don't have to share them with anybody, so we can we can prep a lot of things that we need to prep,
it's funny
with a little bit more time.
We got really spoiled at the commissary kitchen because it has everything.
Yeah, it's like
it's
like a showpiece. They have everything.
Showpiece, but at the end of the day, we only have a really tiny piece inside those walk-ins because there's so many other vendors that work out of the kitchen. Where it's like now this is all
it's ours,
so
and
it's
like
really nice.
At our commissary, we had 0 freezer space. So like early into the pandemic, when we were looking at doing like Gold Belly, we got approved and we did a call. And then it was just like, okay, we talked to Jordan Oken, and he was just like, you guys need to be sure you have like storage and freezer storage because of the shipping. And we're just like,
that might not work.
The cost to rent out extra storage at a commissary.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
Feasible. So now that we have an empty freezer, and because we're pretty much doing everything trim and cooking and serving it fresh, we're gonna have a freezer that's kind of be empty. So if we can get re-accepted, or I don't know if we're like still accepted to Gold Belly, but if we just have to go through that approval again, we'd love to just get on Gold Belly or some type of delivery platform.
Where that would add another component to what that's, and then desserts wise too, you'll be able to be more creative and do whatever.
Definitely.
But like you've been pretty darn creative with your dessert.
There's it's just some logistics in the kitchen. It's a different space than what we're used to. Obviously our commissary kitchen has, you've been inside the kitchen. It's huge. There's tons and tons of ovens and stoves, and I'm a little bit more limited, now, being in a restaurant. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah. What's the name of your commissary kitchen so people know, because you guys are leaving and they've been great to you, and I want to give them a shout out for sure.
Yeah.
Cindy has been absolutely, Cindy Thompson. She's been, honestly, I have no words. She's like,
she's been awesome. I mean,
she's
had your back, and
she's had our backs, and she's allowed us to just be flexible, and that's her home. I mean, she's hardly ever at her apartment. Like that is her home, and she opened up the door to us like if we were family. And we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for that Crafted Kitchen.
Crafted Kitchen. Okay, no, because people should, because they also
Santa Fe.
What's that? Say it again.
I just love her so much. Yeah.
Crafted Kitchen on Santa Fe.
Yeah, it's on Santa Fe in the Arts District.
Yeah. Okay, so that's because you guys are leaving, and that's like a bittersweet too, because
bittersweet for sure.
Yeah, but I'm sure she's gonna come to your restaurant and eat. What are you guys looking at like for hours, and what are you looking at too for potentially opening?
So hours, kind of standard hours, 11 a.m. open time, and then till about sold out. So I don't know how that will be. I'm sure it'll be quicker when we first open, but we'll see. Maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Right now, we're looking at just opening like the weekend, like at least the first week that we're open, and then kind of expanding our hours as like the restrictions get lifted. So full picture, probably like Thursday through Sunday or Wednesday through Saturday, something like that.
Okay.
And then as time goes on, we're kind of going back and forth on like, do we just do a lunch service or do we close for a couple of hours and set up and do like a dinner service too?
That is something we've been talking about.
Because we have the tap room, and so like
maybe you have a limited menu or something that's like a specific dinner menu.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Like some of the things that maybe you can't get like on our lunch service we offer for dinner. Bar bites, stuff like that.
That's cool. Gosh, this is just so roughly May-ish. Are you kind of looking at May?
Yeah, we're looking. I think realistically, probably May, because we're doing a lot of the stuff hands-on ourselves. So it's hard to just dedicate a whole month just to be there.
Like this week we went, we did some stuff, and then yesterday we're at the kitchen prepping all day for curbside service this coming Sunday, and Andrew went this morning and cleaned the leaves and did some stuff. But it's just like we're trying to fit it in, and then fitting it in between the kids, like Zoom school, because they haven't been in school for a year now. Like it's all been distant learning, so it's a struggle.
It's definitely it's a challenge. And so you have a GoFundMe page set up. Can you talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah, sure. So we started a GoFundMe page to basically help with some additional costs of starting up a kitchen. Andrew and I were, fortunate to be able to save some money and to put that towards getting the keys. And we had the help of close loved ones that pitched in and believed in us to make that happen. But now that we have the keys, there's always things that need improvement in a restaurant, and there's always unexpected costs that come up. So we decided to start a GoFundMe just to help raise some money to help us with the unexpected costs, and maybe getting some of the kitchen stuff that we need, pots and pans, painting the paint inside, exterior, having our logo, our branding done.
We have a lot of we have most of the money for all of those things, but it's just kind of like the unforeseen expenses. Like, I didn't know when I activated the water and power, I had to put like a $4,000 deposit down. So those types of things, that's a surprise. So anything to kind of help pad what we already have is essentially why we started it. And any donation helps, like $5, $20, $100, it all helps.
So I'll put a link. Hopefully I'll figure out, maybe I could put a link in the thing that we're talking, but at least I'll put a link below, and I'll also put it in a companion piece with this, so that way people can see. And if you want to help out, you'd appreciate it. And it's towards your dream. It's not like it's an expensive endeavor. It's definitely, and there's always unforeseen things, and you don't even know what's coming up, unforeseen ones.
Right. Yeah. And once we get everything done and it's ready to showcase, we can't wait to show people what we've done with those funds, and make everyone kind of feel, for those who want to donate and help, that they put in, like they helped, make them feel like they're a part of it. This restaurant, the way I see it is this is our new backyard in a sense, enclosed. When we used to have our pop-ups here, it was about making people feel welcome, making people feel, introducing them to something new, which is Texas barbecue, which is something that really wasn't that popular 4 years ago. And I want that same vibe. We want that same vibe at our restaurant. We want people to come in and feel comfortable and feel like, God, this is nice. And, whether they were able to contribute or not, we just want people to just enjoy the space, enjoy the food, have a good time, bring loved ones, bring their children. I mean, that's essentially, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Gosh, that's going to be great. Is it dog friendly? Is it patio?
Is it
patio dog friendly? I don't know.
It is.
It is. We're dog lovers. We have 2 dogs. So, I think it's great if people can come and, have, obviously the dogs would have to be on a leash for safety reasons, but bring your pooches, come hang out. We'll have some water and some treats for the dogs. And it's for everyone.
We'll have big beef rib bones.
For like the small little dogs. Like
don't hold me to that.
And so what is your social media? What's all that stuff? Even though people should know, but what's all the ways to get a hold of you guys?
So Instagram, everything is pretty much Moosecraft Barbecue. So Instagram at Moosecraft Barbecue. If you want to reach out to us, contact at moosecraftbarbecue.com. That's email. And then on Twitter, we're not as active there, but I imagine in the future we will be for line updates and
that'll probably make sense.
Things like that. So
we handle all the social media.
I believe that one's
do everything.
BBQ.
What was that?
The Twitter handle is at Moose BBQ.
Okay, at Moose BBQ.
Yeah.
And then for Facebook, do you guys put much stuff on Facebook?
We have a Facebook. It's not active, but it's also at facebook.com/moosecraft barbecue.
And then also you have a website, right?
Yeah, moosecraftbarbecue.com.
Yeah, that's perfect. And so this is exciting. I'm sure you're gonna have more merch, and it's just gonna be a neat. It's gonna be a really fun.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even mention merch, but yeah, those are also
Merch
things
is
that we're trying
coming
to do on the back end before we open up. So we'll have like fresh hats, new
Fresh
tees,
shirts.
So
nice. That's awesome. And then you're getting artwork, and it's gonna be a really gosh, and it's cool to like be able to make this place your own. You're definitely gonna be designing everything.
Ideas. Yeah, I have so many ideas for what I want to do with walls and
I'm like, my end is like all of the like the utilities and making sure the security cameras are working. And
he's the techie stuff.
And I'm and / janitor now. And she's just like, oh, we can put this and we can do that. And I was just like, that's a really good idea. So, she's
I'm definitely having a lot of fun with it.
It sounds like it's like an HGTV show.
It's actually a lot of DIY too, because I'm trying to keep everything within a certain budget, and I love to get creative and get hands-on. So yeah,
that's
if
really
it
cool.
looks nice, it's because of her, and if it's functioning well, it's because of that's how it's gonna be.
But that's kind of like your life in general. This is so exciting. I'm just glad that you guys took the time to talk about this. I know everyone's excited, and it's going to be really, really neat. And to stay up, just mostly follow your Instagram to get updates.
Yeah.
And then
all the updates, and we're going to start posting updates on our GoFundMe for people who've already donated and people who are going to, donate in the future. We're going to post the timeline to show what we've done, just to get people on that in an update too.
Yeah. And if you want to see, you guys will be posting photos pretty soon of new things that you're, the interiors and stuff. That'll be on probably Instagram, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right now it's a mess, but yeah, once we get everything situated a little bit better, definitely.
And then are you releasing the address, or is that something not right now?
Well, I mean, we can release it. I mean,
it's out there.
Lincoln Kitchen and Tap. So
I guess if they're listening, they can Google that.
It's 2118 North Broadway is the address.
It's going to be interesting to see what it's like now. Maybe like in a year from now, we could talk again and see how things because this is the early days of opening a restaurant without ever having that brick and mortar experience. So maybe you can reflect back and give some advice to people.
Absolutely.
That might be
like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just don't do it. You guys are both like gray hair and like, oh no. Anyways, well, thank you guys so much. And I can't wait to see it in person. Thank you guys for taking the time. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing for Los Angeles. This is exciting stuff.
Thank you,
Thank
Kevin.
you,
We're
Kevin.
so excited.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today.
Yeah, I like it. I'm trapped here by this thatch thing. Anytime you want to talk. No, I'm not always, but anyways, have a great day.